Welcome to Spiritual as Fuck.
Spiritual as fuck.
Where spirituality meets the real world. I'm Liz Volpe, serial entrepreneur, passionate changemaker, and intuitive. I love inspiring people to dream big and create positive change in the world.
I'm Dianne Driscoll, a coach, facilitator, and speaker who uses channeled insights to activate transformation in leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers.
We share real and raw spiritual stories, give you a safe space to challenge what's normal, and have some serious fun along the way.
Come join us as we get spiritual as fuck. Happy New Year, everyone. We are so looking forward to sharing another year full of amazing interviews and exciting topics with you all on the Spiritual as Fuck podcast. To kick things off with a bang, we sit down with UK-based psychic medium David Maddock to explore his extraordinary journey into mediumship, the realities of working with spirit, and his powerful guidance coming through for 2026.
And welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone from Dianne and I. We are here in 2026 for the Spiritual as Fuck podcast. Welcome back. We are already hoping that your year has launched with a bang. How's yours been so far, Dianne? We're a few days in.
Pretty awesome, I have to say.
You're looking pretty 2026-y to me.
Oh, is that a good thing? Bright and colorful.
Yes, very, very good. Now, just a quick reminder, if you have tuned in today, firstly, thank you so much. Wherever you're listening, please go and click that follow or subscribe button just so we can keep going with a beautiful podcast and, of course, have an amazing guests on like the one that we have today. Now, Dianne and I, quite a while back now, started to follow this beautiful gentleman. And I remember the first time we listened to his story, and we were like, oh my God, we have to have him on. We, as you already know, if you're listening, we love really grounded, real and raw stories and people that embody the mainstream spirituality, I'd say, kind of that middle ground where spirituality meets the real world. And David Maddock is definitely the right person to bring on today. David Maddock is an international and celebrity medium all the way from the UK. David, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
No, thank you for having me, and Happy New Year, and hello everybody who's listening.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year, David. Yeah, we are really excited for this. Like, we know that you've supported and helped thousands of people tune in and speak to their loved ones in spirit, which really changes lives, right? This is a pretty incredible job. And we're hoping today that we can dive right in and learn more about your story. And I think before we get too involved in what the life looks like now for you as a medium, I'd love to kind of step back, because we all have those lives before. Do you remember that life before this happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to go there. I want to know, if we were to zoom back in time and meet you then, what would life look like? What would you be doing? Where were you living? Tell us about pre-mediumship.
Yeah, well, yeah, where do I begin? I mean, first and foremost, I'd probably have a hard hat on because I used to work in construction. So
Wow.
life is on right now with a hard hat on. Yeah, this journey's just been a roller coaster of of joy as well as other mixed emotions. And it literally started. The only place I can start it with is my car accident. I was 14 years of age, and my best friend, me and my best friend from school, this one particular day, we walked to the shops, and we was in this summer school holidays, and outside a place near where I used to live called the Black Country Museum, I crossed the road and a car hit me, and my best friend said, I thought I was watching my best friend die. And he said, I mean, even now, it just brings up the raw emotion of, even to this day, I was 14 and I've just turned 40. Well, last year, just turned 40. And, it's still like yesterday to me. And I don't remember the accident in terms of, I didn't feel anything. I was literally unconscious. But what I do remember, and it goes back to what you're saying about keeping the work grounded, and I don't like to make it like, I don't know the word to use, like high, like kind of dramatic. So, but what I can tell you is that in that moment, I can still see it now clearly. I was above and I was looking down and I could see everything that was going on, and that's the only way for me to explain it. And I had this moment of, now is not your time. Now, this moment was just a thought that I had, and I didn't see anybody. I don't want to dramatize it, I just had this thought of, now is not your time, and I just saw this flash of light, and all I remember is like I'm on the floor. What's going on? And the ironic thing is, my dad was there. Now, my dad living, I'm talking about not past. My dad's still here. The funny thing is, when I got hit by the car, my dad was working on the roads in construction. So my dad worked Scotland, London. We're from the West Midlands, so you're in the middle of the country, let's say. And my dad, that particular time, was working on the road next to where I got hit by the car.
Gosh, the
Yeah,
likelihood.
yeah. And my dad, so my best friend runs straight to my dad and was like, his dad's just been, yeah. And if you think about it, my dad always worked around the country, anywhere in the world, in the country, sorry, he would be. And on this particular time, it's the road next to where I've been hit by the car. So
Wow.
we go to hospital, and I literally walked away. They just said, "Oh, you've got a broken toe," and that was literally it. And
Oh my
I mean, I was a little bit dazed and stuff. I kept having visions back of the image of what I saw, but I just kept having this moment. And then, do you want to just carry on where we went from there? Do you want to just carry on?
Go for it.
Keep going.
Yeah. So that happened, and then it was one of those things where I went back to school, everything just carried on as normal. And when I was 16, I was always into spiritual work in kind of tarot cards. So my mom had her own deck of cards, only for herself, not for other people. She didn't have the confidence, didn't want to be honest. Um, and I always said to Mum, can we go to a psychic fair? I want to see. And I always had this, and for a young lad, you think to yourself, like, that's, back then as well, it's a little bit, not odd, but it's an unusual hobby to want to get into at that age. But so I remember my mum sitting down with this lady, and I thought, oh, let's see what this is. She got these angel cards out, and she placed these cards down. And as she started talking about my dad, and I was nudging my mum, like, Mum, does she know Dad? And Mum's like, no, that's her job. So anyway, she says to me, would you like your cards being read? And I said, look, I can't afford it because I just spent my last bit of money on another lady. And she said, no, I'll pick you a couple of cards. Anyway, she draws these cards and she's like, David, you're going to help people all over the world. Now, back then, I don't even think MySpace was a thing, or mobile phones had literally,
Yes.
hardly make
Back
a
in the
phone
day.
call, hello, and these big phones. And so I'm like, pull the other one, and forgive me for my rudeness, but I was just like, oh, she wants me to be part of but I was like, no, she wants me to be part of some kind of strange cult or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. So anyway, but it was one of those things, and I always say it was like having an itch, and I need to scratch it. So it intrigued me. So even though I dismissed it at the time, anyway, a few months went by, about 6 months, maybe even a year. But I went to saw another lady who said the exact same things, and I thought this is a bit strange now. And then the one time, because at this point I'm now working on the roads with my dad. My dad got me into working in construction. My friend messaged me and said, somebody's pulled out, we're having a psychic lady come over. Would you like to come and have a reading? They all knowing that I was into this subject. Absolutely on there. Like,
Love it.
and another thing is, so in my old job in construction, like when you work on the roads, they always say, you know what time you're leaving, but you never know what time you're coming home because you've got the quarries, you've got to rely on transport and all the rest of it. So this one day we was going to be late, but then the quarry broke down, so it actually meant that we was going to be back early. So I made the meeting.
Yay. Oh, spirit's so good right there.
Absolutely. So I
Working it
got
all out.
back. Yeah, I got back and I was like, went to my friend's house. The lady said the same things again. And I remember going back to my mum's house and I had this little skip in my step that, like, there's something happening here and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to enjoy it. And I went to my mum and I said, Mum, this lady, this is the third lady. And my mum said, put your hands on top of mine. Don't touch me, but put your hands. Because when my mum used to do the car, like I say, with a friend and she weren't for the public or anything, she said, that's what my friend used to teach me. And all of a sudden, I just started seeing these things. And have you ever had that moment of seeing somebody in the street and you're like, I recognise the face, but I can't remember the name. And you have that awkward moment of like, hello, please don't come over and speak to me because I can't remember your name.
All the time, by the way. This
Yeah,
happens to me all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Hello, hello. And people think you're being rude, but you're not. It's like, I forgot your name and I feel rude for saying no name kind of thing. And anyway, when I was doing this for my mom, I had a flashback of my car accident, and I said, this feeling, this energy, this warmth energy that I felt, I was like, I felt this before, but then I couldn't place it. So a bit like the face, I couldn't place it. But then as the reading went on, I was like, hang on, this is taking me back to my car accident, and I was like, this is my nan. My nan saved me, and
Oh
that,
my God.
and the validations and the things I was saying to my mom. My mom was in she was, because there's things I was saying. And I remember my mom saying to me, and so I've got my hands over and I'm saying all these things. And she went, what's your grand's name? Your nan's name. And I said, oh, and I saw a pair of jeans. And I went, jeans? Jean? And she said, yeah. And then my mom said to me, she was like, oh my goodness. She said, I said, Dave, I'll always support you in whatever path you take. She said, but there's a nickname or there's a name that your nan had that like nobody knows within the family on his certain, and you wouldn't know it. She went, if you can pick that up, then yeah. So anyway, we left it at that. And in bed, I'm lying there thinking, Mary, Margaret, thinking of any old.
Give it to me.
And I was like, no, it's not happening. And the excitement and the energy, because I wanted to feel that feeling again. And a couple of days later, I remember being in the kitchen and my mum walked past me in the kitchen and my dad's down the bottom. Now, my dad's a bit of let's just say a man's man in terms of, works in construction, very black and white in terms of, if he can't see it, he doesn't believe it, or used to have that, quite skeptical mindset. So my mum walked past me and my dad's down the bottom putting the kettle on. And all of a sudden, I felt that energy. I felt that like, oh, Gran's here. And then I got pulled to the top of my dad's cupboard in the kitchen, and above there was a first aid box. And do you remember Tomb Raider, The Lost Ark, or something like
Yeah.
that? The Jones movie. That title was coming towards me, as well as the first aid. Now, not physically, but in my mind's eye, I'm looking, and I was like, Raider, Aid, Raider, Raider, Ada, and I just said, Mom, Ada, and my dad went, oh, the bloody hell, did he know that?
No way.
Yeah, and
Oh, wow.
to me. And again, I'm not trying to dramatise the subject. It was just in my mind's eye. That's what I saw.
I love
And
that.
then my mum was like, "Oh my goodness, you've got my attention," because that was your nan's name, Ada. And my dad was down the bottom, and he was like, "What?" And then it just grew from there. I was still going to work and stuff. I think my early 20s was a bit of a strange period for me in terms of, well, 20 up until probably 30, because the 20s was a period for me trying to find who I am, and how can you tell people that, like, oh, by the way, I can connect to deceased loved ones, But it was really funny because when it started to spread, I remember one of my friends coming up to me. I was in my mid-20s, so I was doing readings here and there, nothing out there. But I was doing them like for my mum's friends and a few other people, but it weren't nothing, again, it weren't nothing public, let's say. And I remember my friend coming up to me going, Dave, do you do readings? I'm like, why? He said, my auntie's had a reading saying she's had an amazing reading with a guy called David Maddock. And he said, and I was like, yeah, and I said,
Cats out of the bag.
so, yeah, and I didn't. So I wasn't very good at my job to not know it was his auntie, but I was like, yeah. And it slowly but surely, I think people started to get wind of it. Of like, okay, and again, I went through the struggles of, how are people going to perceive me? What are people going to think of me? And even though I went through that, I still do bits and pieces, but it was a really tough period. And then when I got to my 30s, that was when I really said, enough's enough. I've had enough of hiding, and I want to own who I am, because I saw the joy and the happiness I was bringing to so many people, and I just thought there's something here that I need to pursue more, and then it's just gone from there.
And you're now to think of, the construction worker, the hard hat on, and now you're actually even having your own shows. Like you're not just doing the individual readings, you're doing the shows as well.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular? Was there a tipping point? Because I think we all go through it where here's our old life, and at some point we've just got to go all in. Was there a particular moment where you've just said, you know what, I'm stepping away from construction, I'm stepping away from my well, not necessarily 9 to 5, but just that normal job into I'm going all in?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a moment where I always remember it. So there was a TV company kind of speaking to me, asking me if I'd like to do a show. Um,
Ooh, that's
so yeah,
exciting.
That's
yeah,
big.
so, yeah,
No
yeah.
hiding there, right?
No, absolutely not. And the show was based on doing it was a show based on people who've been through like serious traumas and they wanted me to go to readings and stuff. Slowly but surely, the more I did the interviews with them about the show, the more it seemed to change. And I always look at things that anybody can have 5 minutes of fame in terms of, but then that 5 minutes, how's that going to stick? Like, am I going against my morals? Am I going against like who I feel I am?
Yes.
And it was kind of like, this ain't the opportunity for me. I just don't feel it's right. And, and I knew it was going to be a big break in terms of, exposure and all the rest, but it just didn't sit right. And I remember we was driving home and I was just looking at my phone and all that kept going through my head is like, what am I doing? At this point, I'm doing readings here and there. And I think COVID changed it massively for me because when
Yeah.
COVID came along, I got furloughed from work. So I'm now at home. And in that period of time, I got bombarded with emails like David doing just from doing a couple of readings. It just grew. And then I think that opened my eyes to the potential. And at the
Yes.
time, I remember feeling so kind of victimized as to, well, why have I been furloughed and not many others and stuff. But now I saw it as the blessing that it was, that it gave me the open my eyes kind of moment of there's potential here. Look at the audience I can reach. And like the lady said to me at the beginning, you'll be reaching people around the world, and that's exactly what happened. When we come back from furlough, as I say, in 2021, the end of it was October. I always remember it because I'm driving home and I was like, what am I doing? And I remember just saying to like my foreman, my gaffer at the time, when he dropped everybody off, I said, look, I'm leaving. And I said, I'm going to pursue this TV career, but in my heart, I kind of knew I wasn't going to pursue it. But I just thought, if you want something in life, you've
Yeah.
got to burn your bridges. You've got to say, and to do that, it gave me a way out of, in terms of, because I thought, what's my dad going to say? And my dad being my dad, I found my dad, by the way, I've let him know no, you're not, you are not, you're on a well-paid job, you're this. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, Dad, it feels right here. And then in the end, he just wished me well. And my dad says, look, I'll support you whatever you do. And so yeah, and that's what happened. And I remember my gaffer phoning me, so I handed in my notice in 2021, the end of October. I handed in my notice, and I remember my gaffer phoning me saying, "Look, we'll give you a sabbatical for 3 months to get your filming done."
Oh,
Whatever.
wow.
Yeah, and I just says, yeah, and I think it's going to take 6 months filming, and I was like, trying my eye, look, do not give me a reason to come back, and I didn't mean disrespectfully because I wanted to be all in, and I think that in life, if you want something, you've got to burn your bridges, you've got to be willing to take that leap of faith, you've got to show the universe, hey, I'm willing to take a trust in you, and if I'm doing that, please repay me. And literally from 2022, it's just gone. Yeah, and here I am now talking to you wonderful people, and bless them all, so
Wow.
it's where it's heading.
I love that so much. And I think that, we've interviewed a lot of mediums and we hear similar stories. That there is always that point in time where you have to just go all in. And the other question that I always like to ask, and I ask this purely because it's something that I've gone through, David, is that there was a period of time where I probably resisted my gifts as well. And whether or not it was from fear or it was also from fear of what other people would think, like there was this really uncomfortable stage for me that was like, I don't know if I really want this to be happening. It obviously happens before you go all in, but did you go through that at all? And how did that feel if you did?
Yeah, my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My calling, my intuition was just so strong of like, what are you doing? I'd always go through the same question. And my 20s was that period for me. And it was the
Because the
most,
20s especially must have been extremely hard with your friends.
Yeah.
No, like your friends knowing that you're doing readings, or you knowing that that's the type of stuff you like.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how hard that would be.
Yeah.
Being a
Well,
guy as well.
yeah, exactly that. And to be honest, even now, it's something that I never talk to people about in terms of I want people to get to know me for me, get to know
Yes.
David, and then the other stuff will come at a later date. And I think it's important because I'm still me, I don't go around saying, "Oh, your grand's standing behind you," or "your mum," or whatever. I just don't do that. And what I
Yeah.
did find fascinating though is that when I would be out with a few of the lads, I remember one of the lads coming up to me and just saying, like, "So what's all this about then, Dave, that I'm hearing about you? Tell me something about me." I just saw that as my gateway of like, "All right, you've asked, here you go." So I remember, and we're in this nightclub and we've gone outside, and I'm like having to comfort him because I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "You've just blew me away." Like,
What did you tell him,
Yeah.
David? Tell us.
it was about I can't remember now. Like I say, it was in my 20s. It was about his. I think it was his grandfather had passed, and there's a lot of things that had come up. But I just remember the raw emotion, and but then it got my interest. And I thought, well, hang on, if he's interested, maybe other people are interested,
Yes. Yes.
but they're not showing it. And one thing I have noticed is my male client base is literally growing. And
Yes.
because a lot from all over the world. And what I'm finding is that even if it's not about they're connecting to their loved ones, whether it's me picking a few cards for them, giving them spiritual guidance, giving them the confidence to step into their path a little bit more, I'm just finding this path is just keeps widening with the direction.
Yes.
So the biggest thing for me is when people come to me for the session, I know that the first and foremost is they want to connect with loved ones. I appreciate that. My job, I feel, for me, is when somebody comes online, how do I help this person in front of me? No, it's not about the ego that me sitting there saying, "Oh my God, I got this, and this, and can you believe how good I am?" And I just haven't got that. I just no. What I cared about is I've had sessions where I've parked the reading information in terms of who they want to hear from, because they need to offload and they need to find who they are. And I always say it's like an onion, you peel back the layers. So some people need more than one session, or some people are not ready for that. So I just make sure that I approach it in a very sensible, delicate way, because it really is a delicate subject, and it's not about your ego. It's not about, "Oh my goodness, can you believe he said this?" Yeah, it's great for the recipient because they're getting the information that they want to hear. But my priority is you're still on this journey, you're still on this path. So my job, I feel, that is as a spiritual practitioner, is to help you, guide you. Let's make sure that you're okay. Make
Yeah.
sure that you're ready for the information.
I love that, David, because I think that was one of the things that drew us to you, to have you on the podcast. It's not like that's creating the safe space for people. So then it's like whatever presents itself. So it's not just being a psychic medium. And I think for me, like obviously we always research our guests and, see what's out there. But for me, and I haven't said this to Liz, but I saw wonderful parallels between you and Liz in that you're so much more than psychic medium. There are so many strings to your bow. There's that kind of desire to help people and to make a difference in the world, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But having that courage as well to follow that, okay, I don't need to just fit myself into this one box and do this one thing. I'm going to say no to this TV show. I'm going to help this person in front of me in this specific way. I love, love, love how you do that. And it's that spiritual practitioner. When you said the word spiritual practitioner, that felt so strong for me. Like I got such a sense of that's it. It's really, and it feels that there's so much evolving for you. So can you talk a little bit about the evolution of your gift? So even when I think back to when your nan's name was coming to you,
Yes.
I love the way you were. Here's the visual. Like I'm such a geek about this because I love finding out how people receive their information. So if you can talk about how you receive your information, but also the evolution of your gifts over time.
Great
Well,
question, Diane.
Big question. Sorry. Deep, sharp intake of breath there by David.
no. They have evolved massively over
Yeah.
especially when I took the leap of faith. And when I said the leap of faith, from January the 1st in 2022 is when I literally said, here you go. This is where I'm at. Bearing in mind, when I was in construction, I was still doing my shows. So there's still bits and pieces because I've got to the stage of, okay, even though some people are gimmick me or, I kind of got more and more thick skinned with it. I am a sensitive soul. I always have been. And one thing I've learned is just accept who you are a lot more. And that's part of the evolving process. Like, accept who you are. Don't try and be someone that you're not. Like, be your authentic self. And everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own path. For me, what I found evolved, and it goes back to my male clients and also many other clients. I have clients all over the world: Dubai, Australia, America, New Zealand, Italy, wherever it may be. And some of them are just like, Dave, I just need to hear you. Like, I just need to. And
Oh.
I can't explain it. They just need some kind of guidance. And, and that's how it's evolved for me. It's evolved for me from the angle of, I used to think that when people come on, my main priority is, oh my goodness, I need to connect with mom, nan, grand, whoever it may be. And then all of some people are coming on. And then I always get like, we're going down like a one-way street here to a dead end. So hang on, let's get you right first because you're still on this journey. And when people say to me, "Oh my goodness, I've lost my loved one," and this is where I've evolved as well, is understanding more about people. And I never say that we've lost anybody. Like, when people say to me, "Oh, I've lost my mum,
Yeah.
I've lost my dad, I've lost my gran, I've lost my dog," I'm like, "You haven't lost anybody. You've gained someone." And the reason I say that is because when people cross over, or animals, our loved ones, you've gained someone because they're with you, like, whenever you need them to be with you, around you. So there's no more, oh, I need to go and travel to go and see my mom and dad. I need to go and travel to go and see my mom. Oh, I need to go and see my dog, like, whatever situation. So they are with you 24/7 if you want them to be. So all of a sudden, all these barriers that we have on the physical plane are no longer there. So when people say to me, I've lost someone, I'm like, I'll try and change the narrative of, no, actually, you've gained someone. You've just got to look deeper within and trust the process. So I lost my dog. I grieved, but then I grieve from, I miss the physical presence. And that's what I think we grieve. We miss the physical of them not being around. But if you trust the process and trust in yourself that they are always with you, then it will change your narrative in the way that you think.
Mm. When it comes to you receiving signs and getting that proof over time that your loved ones are still around and obviously receiving lots of messages from other people's loved ones, how are they talking to you? What are the signs that you tend to see? Are there any themes, David, or any themes that our listeners should look out for?
Be very open to whatever you sense or feel. I did a workshop yesterday, for example, part of my subscribers group, and one of the ladies she was like, in the meditation day, we spoke about a box, and she went, but the box was a shoe box. She says, which is odd. And then I got the word harmony. And funnily enough, the lady from America said, well, hang on, the shoebox connected to them, because I said, does anybody understand the connection to in the online group? And she said, yeah. She said the shoebox relates to me because my son passed and he was all about shoes. And they had this dialogue, this moment of connection.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you've just got to allow yourself to be
Yeah.
more accepting. And I think that in the world that we live in, or a lot of people look at things that, if I can't see it, I don't believe it. And I think if you broaden your horizon, like, we know that there's oxygen, we know that we've got air all around us. We don't see it, but we know it's there. So it's about having that faith and that belief system that there is something far greater than the eye can see.
Oh, yeah. Can I quickly ask Dianne here before you come in with a question?
I knew
Is
you had a follow on. I could feel it.
You could feel it. Good job. Is there like one really memorable connection at any point in your journey that just always stands out as one of those like holy shit moments for you? Even if it wasn't for the person you're reading for, just even for you?
Honestly, I have seen a lot of things in my readings. So to pinpoint, like, one of the standout ones for me is actually what happened for my mom. To envision that, and I'm not sure if I answered your question, so I do apologise. You asked about like how it works for me, I believe. So it works symbolically. So my job again is that I see images, and then it's like, how do I place that? Like, how does that feel for me? And I remember one thing that does stick out is, there's a few, but I'm going to use this one. I remember reading for a lady in Dubai. Her mum had passed. Her mum was coming through, and so when I say her mum's coming through, that subtle energy. When I said to you before about my mum walking past me, and I felt that it's like a wave of like, okay, and I'm connected to my higher self. Her her mum had passed, and her mum kept showing me giraffes. So, and I kept getting the feeling of like, I'm grateful. So I was like, this lady's never just brought a giraffe. No way. Like, so I'm sitting there in this reading. So I'm saying to the lady, oh, when you're going to the zoo? She went, I'm not. Okay, the farm? No. Like the animal room? No. The safari? No. And she went, Dave, can I just, why do you keep asking me about animals? I said, well, your mum keeps telling me to say, talk about the giraffes. She's showing me giraffes. I'm meant to acknowledge the giraffes, but then I'm meant to say thank you for the giraffe. And the woman just started to cry. So at this point, I'm like, she's brought a giraffe. And I went, you haven't brought a giraffe. Look, in my head, logically, go to the place of, and I think being connected to my dad, the way my dad's skeptic, I'm very, very hard on myself in terms of if I see something, I want to be able to back it up. So I'm very, very hard on myself. And so I'm like, you haven't brought, and she went, no. She went, but what I've just done is some vases have just arrived that my mum wanted, but she never got round to having them because she passed. She said, we're on the vases that have got giraffes on. And she said, I've always asked my mum, let me know that you know that I've got your vases and the vases have giraffes on. And I was like, that was a moment for me that made me realise sometimes just say the blinking giraffe.
Yes.
So just say, instead of complicating it, just say, I'm seeing a giraffe, because that would have, instead of go, because again, sometimes because I'm searching for the finer detail of what that means, yeah. So, and she
Oh,
but there's also been, I don't really want to talk about the negatives as such, but, and I'm not talking negative energy. I've also seen things that people have had to go through with grief. I mean, I've had a client who lost her daughter being hit by a horse, and some of the things that I see are quite, you know, you're like, wow. And what, so, there's good stuff. But what I've learned is over the years of the things I see, it's not mine. It's kind of, here you go. This is what I'm seeing.
yeah.
But I need you to know. And 9 times out of 10, when I do see those kind of things, it always follows with, I don't have that anymore. So people who say to me, oh, my mum suffered, my dad suffered, my child suffered, what, that they'll show me, and then it's like, we don't have that anymore. We don't take the physical body with us. It's the energy that moves on. The soul, the essence of who we are, moves on. We don't have that anymore. And if you have a debate with somebody, or there's somebody in the family you didn't like, and I've done it before when I was reading for a lady, and this lady started to cry, and this was when I was first started to build up, when at the start of my 30s, when I really started to like kind of say, here I am. And this lady texts me. I'll have to tell you the story because it is rather funny.
Oh, do please.
Do.
Sorry, I feel like I'm waffling on. I do.
No, we're hooked.
Just tell me to stop at any point. So this lady, as I was saying, I was just starting to get my name out there now, saying this. So the lady texts me and she says, hi David. She said, I'd like to book a reading in with you. Tell me the time and the place and I'll be there. My name's H. P.S. I'm very skeptical. Now, you did not need to be a psychic to know this lady was skeptical. So I just read this message. I told her to come to my home. Here it is. Anyway, she comes to my home. And where I used to live, it was like a little hallway, goes into the living room where I used to do my readings. Upstairs in my spare room was where I used to meditate, to open up and close down. So she comes, she sits down, and within the first 5 minutes, I got a mother figure that was passed for her, and I was talking to her about this mother figure. And this lady went from crying to now hysterical to like,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I'm like, are you okay? And she went, no, I'm not. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, do you
Dear.
want to stop? She says, yes. Now, bearing in mind, this is like when I was like, oh no, what's happened here? And I says, what's that? She went, I'll tell you what the bloody problem is, David. She said, the woman that you're talking about, my ex-mother-in-law, she ruined my life, ruined my marriage, and now she's ruined my bloody reading. I kid you not. I kid you not. I kid you not. He got up, and I was in that much of a shock. I seriously, I was in that much, and I say this to all my live shows. I tell this story. So she just gets up and she goes, and I remember thinking, like, what's just happened? And I remember looking through like the keyhole, the hole, and I was watching her on the driveway get storming into a car, upset, and here's me thinking like, I don't know what to do, you know. And then, just to say, if anybody's named H who's listening to this, you still owe me for the reading, by the way. You never found.
Pay up, H.
Yeah, teasing, I'm teasing. No, so she left, and what it did for me though, it taught me a couple of valuable lessons. It was like the worst thing, but the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And the worst thing is not knowing how to handle that situation, not knowing what to do in that, you know. This poor lady's just left my home, you know, hysterical. I've got this mother figure energy that's giving me all this detail, this, you know, the validation to say she's there. And so anyway, then I went to the place of, well, you know, if I'm here to help people, how's that helping anybody? If somebody's communicating with me, why are they coming through to me when that person wouldn't want to hear from them? So I was really hard on myself. As I said earlier, I'm very, very hard on myself. And so nobody can be a bigger critic than me. And I'm sure, Liz, if you do this work, as you were saying earlier, you'll know that feeling anyway. So no can criticise, no comment, no message, nothing can criticise more than you'll criticise yourself. So I remember going upstairs to shut down, and when I say shut down, I mean my chakras. And as I went to do my meditation and shut down, I felt another essence of a mother figure, and I felt an apology. So there's two things in the mother-in-law was coming through to say I'm sorry for the way I was, and then she was coming through to bring through her biological mom, who she come. What it taught me is that appreciative does come through. And so now I've got from that moment on, I don't care if somebody says to me, what you're talking to my Uncle Bob for, I didn't like them, I didn't know them, whatever. I'm like, well, I don't care what's going on here. They're coming through. Let me say what I need to say. And when I say I don't care, I do care, but there's a reason behind it. And then a lot of the time, if they just allow the information to come through, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense, you know? So it just taught me that we can't guarantee who or what's going to come through. But what it could mean, if she'd just give it a moment, her ex-mother-in-law wanted to say I'm sorry, and then her biological mom come through, but she never got. And I think that's what the worst thing is for me, not knowing how to handle that at the time, is that lady leaving my home worse than when I found her. And I always kind of set that goal of an intention of I always want people to feel better than when I found them in whichever way.
I think like it's such brilliant selection of stories, but of course being hung on the last one, I think it just shows that you know, as gifts are opening up for people, spirit will provide you with you know things that are kind of pushing your evolution forward. So you know you're given that opportunity to learn and grow and develop, and then now through this podcast and you know lots of other mediums, you know you share the story with others, so when they're on their path of evolution and their gifts you know increasing all the time, that piece of wisdom gets passed on as well. It's such a and for me, I would look at that situation that I would trust that that planted a seed for that lady and that signs come through in other ways, because I do believe if spirit has a message or someone who's passed who has a message for us, so you may just have been one of the breadcrumbs on the trail for her to be open to the next sign that came through. And I have no doubt. So H, if you're listening, it would be lovely if you got back to David at some point and just let him know that thank you, you know, that the message came through in some way, because I do believe that if there's a message that has to come through, it will find lots of different avenues and ways of coming through, and then it will eventually. But I love the way that you reflect on your learnings and share on your learnings. Like there's such a teacher energy about you as well. Like not just doing the reading, it is that, I guess, spiritual practitioner as you called yourself. But I can't help myself but ask, like at the beginning of 2026, is there anything that, you know, if you tune in right now. So whether it's for Liz and I, whether it's for our listeners more broadly, or even just a reflection of, as you know, we have wrapped up 2025 going into 2026, what would you like to share? Is there any pearls of wisdom or anything that's coming through for you that you would like to share? The stage is yours, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first things first, I think 2025 was a massive year for all of us in terms of transitions. And I always said this to Megan, the energy felt. Now, I don't do astrology, so I just want to be clear on that. Astrology isn't my field. I don't try and talk about other people's work. So, an astrologer would probably go into this in a lot more detail. The energy just felt it's one step forward, two steps back. So, we progress, and then something would happen that kind of brings us back again. And it was a transitional year for us. And what I mean by that is that, like, you know, we've got the wardrobe and we've got the old clothes, but we're like, I'm not getting rid of my old clothes because I know one day I'm going to get back into them, or I know one day I'm going to wear it. But,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and I have this debate with my wife all the time. Seriously, I'm like, Megan, you're never going to wear that top, you know, and she's like, yes, I will. But the point is, though, 2025 was that difficult year of taking out the clothes, and this year is going to be all about putting the new clothes in. So there's going to be a lot more of, okay, you know, we've shed those leaves, now let's rejuvenate and push forward with where we want to be, and putting ourselves first a lot more to help us grow and develop and be where we want to be. So that's the energy that I feel around. I'm happy to pick a card as well if you'd like me to.
Oh, yes. Why
Would love
not?
that. Yes.
Definitely.
No pressure, but you've said it. So
I'll tell you, I have got cards with me. So now, when I say I pick a card, I can pick a generic kind of collective card for everybody and just give a message, or I can do both of you individually if you would like that.
I think you should choose, David.
yes. What are you feeling
Go
drawn
with your
to? Whatever
intuition.
you feel.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
we'll go for the collective and then we'll see where this leads. Okay.
Sounds good.
I'd already shuffled my cards at the previous as well, and then, well, there you go, the Blossom card. So the Blossom card
Oh,
2026, all about your
Oh,
creativity, trusting in your intuition a lot more than what you're doing at the moment, letting go. And if I'm a massive fan of Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins always speaks about, you know, if you go to the garden and you say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's going to be weeds there. We've got to get our gloves on or our hands and pull those weeds out. So this year is all about pulling out the weeds and also nurturing the seeds that we do plant. So giving it sunlight so that, you know, I always say to my clients, you know, I have clients come to me and they want this, this, and this, and it's like if you want to win the lottery, you know, if you want to win the lottery, you've got to get off your backside and go buy a ticket. You ain't going to win the
yes.
lottery if you're sitting at home. So sometimes we have to put the hard work in. Like where I am now, people watching this now who think, "Oh my goodness, he's on that podcast, that amazing podcast," which it is. But if
thanks.
but no, the point that I'm getting at is that there's a lot of hard work that I've been through, and I think it's really
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
that I do bring
Yeah.
up struggles that I've been through, that I do bring up the pressure that I felt in times, and it's not all fairy kind of like, hey, it's been difficult, and there's been difficult, and there always will be, and there will be obstacles, even from my readings, and it's part of the reason why I mentioned the reading that we will go through those difficult periods. It's all
Yeah.
about having faith in yourself and trusting in yourself and keep pushing forward. And that's the Blossom card. And that's what this year's about. Don't just say, oh, I want to achieve this and I'm going to manifest it. Actually, physically, how do you make it happen? Knock on every door of opportunity. Don't worry if one person says no because another 10 might say yes. So find what's right for you, do what's right for you, and give wherever you want to place your energy into. Give it the water, give it the sunlight, and give it the chance to grow. Don't just quit at the first ever done. That's the first. That's the big thing for me, especially for 2026.
That
Definitely.
is such a beautiful message, just considering the year that we have come out of, because how you describe it, yeah, definitely felt everything of that. And now it's like, oh, great, things
Thank
are
God.
ahead. But it's not going to arrive on the silver platter. It's like you still have to get off your arse and do the
Do
hard
the
work.
work.
Wonderful.
Oh, I
So,
love
you,
that.
Liz, would you like a card? Would you like me to?
Yeah, go on
Oh,
then. Seeing
let's
as though
go.
it's a new year.
Okay. So what I want you to do, Liz, is I'm gonna do this very professional, Liz. I'm going going to ask you just to close your eyes,
Yeah.
and when you're ready, take your time and just shout stop.
Stop.
Okay. So I'm just going to go off the top again. Liz. Oh, and you've got the teach card. So the teach card represents a few things. So either you're teaching other people, but for me, I feel that there's something that you need to learn for yourself. And I don't mean that in a derogatory or in a negative way. What I'm saying is, though, there's a lot more to come from you. There's a part of you that's holding back, and I need you to open up a little bit more than what you're doing at the moment. The little doggy here as well. So there might be a dog in spirit for you as well that's surrounding you, all around you. But just know you're never on your own, and start bringing forward your values and own who you are a lot more. And you're on a beautiful podcast. You know, you're a beautiful soul. I love your energy, by the way. You've got a great energy. So
Thank
I,
you.
I just feel branches around you in terms of like what you're doing now currently. I feel there's a lot more to come from you, but it's a bit like me, kind of to push past the boundaries, start doing that. But the teach card is the educational side of things. So there might be something that you need to learn for yourself to help you get where you need to be. You know, and even if you're like, I don't really want to do that, David, just you know, yeah. So, but there might be a course. It could be a course. It could be something that you need to study to learn for yourself, for your own values, and then that will help other people. But be a bit
Oh.
more kinder to yourself as well.
Oh, thank you. That definitely makes sense to me. So I
Yeah,
take it on board.
take
Thank
it
you
on
so
board.
much,
Take it
David.
on
That's
board.
so
And
kind.
then, Dianne, would you like
Okay,
to close
close,
your eyes?
closed.
And when you're ready, just shout stop.
Stop.
Okay.
I liked that dramatic pause then, Dianne.
Oh, I needed to get over your reading. I had teary eyes.
Okay, so Dianne, you've got the lead card. So the
Oh,
lead card for this year is all about you're here hiding in the shadows, and now's the time to take the lead in the situation and start taking more control of things. And I'm not even talking about this podcast or anything like that. I'm talking about around work, but also relationships as well. And I'm not saying, and when I say relationships, I'm not talking partner relationships. It could be family. There feels a part of you that sometimes you let people kind of say what they want to say and do what they want to do, and then you're kind of left behind. And what I mean by that is that you're not speaking your truth as such, because I don't want to have the drama. I don't want to have, but sometimes we need to kind of get things off our chest. And this is a little thing that I'm going to say to people, that whether it's good or bad in terms of whether you need to say sorry to somebody or whether, you know, you need to get something off your chest that's upsetting you. I always look at everything as energy. So, for example, Dan, if I thought I'd said something to offend you, for example,
mhm.
and you thought nothing of it, whatever I said, but it sat with me, then I would come to you
Yes.
and say, Dianne, I need to say I'm really sorry. Like, and you'd be like, what are you sorry for? I'd be like, it doesn't matter. Just know I'm sorry for this
Yes.
situation on it, because I believe it's energy form. And if we don't get things off our chest, then I feel that energy form has got to go somewhere, and it's the only place it goes in the body. So bad backs, bad legs. Just think to yourself, have I spoken my truths of late? But so I hope that helps your listeners and yourself. But taking the lead in a situation as well, and there'll also be a leadership role that you might need to take this year as well. There's part of you that kind of like, yeah, I'll let them deal with that, you know, and I'll be stepping, take control a lot more. I also see, I'm sorry to go into this a little bit more detail. I'm seeing a contract arranger as well, Dianne. So whenever I see contracts,
Oh,
it could be finances, it could be money in terms of, you know, house, car. If it was in a deeper reading, I'd go more into this. But then feels like there's something that you're going to be signing. Just make sure that anything that you sign, that you study it. So whether it's a new contract, whether it's a house, whether it's a car, whether there will be something that you need to sign. And when you
ooh,
do sign it, just make sure that it's what you want it to be. And then you've got a
yes.
lot more say than what you think you have.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
like
I
that.
literally
Juicy.
that like at the very end of that, the goosebumps went up on me, and I'm thinking I think I've just let go of every single thing in Australia in 2025, and it's like now, so there's bound to be something new coming up in
Absolutely.
2026. But
Yeah.
oh, fantastic! And that card, even the visual on that card, really spoke to me as
And
well.
then, sorry, can I just jump in? So I'm really sorry. Is
No, no,
one of you moving? Is somebody moving home? If you're not moving home, then is somebody like re-renovating or decorating the home or just changing
so
the home?
in the last year, we've both moved. So I've moved from Australia back to Ireland. Liz went
Oh
to
wow.
Bali.
Oh, okay. So, okay, sorry. I'm not very good at my job. Here's me thinking you're both in Australia.
We're totally
This
different places.
fresh, yeah, it's fresh, it's
Oh,
new.
so how many years is this year? 2025.
Yeah. But I feel like, Dianne, it's you
Um,
this is related to, or do you?
So, okay, then which one? Sorry, forgive me because you're both together. So, connected to the house move? Which one of you feels lost in terms of lost of like? I love where I am, but I'm unsettled, and I've got the house how I want it, or I'm here, I'm happy. But then there feels like an unsettled feeling around the house. Is that you, Diane?
I'm saying yes because I'm actually split between two homes.
Feel,
So
yeah, feel
that's so
unsettled.
not just the move
And
from Australia. It's like I'm happy in both places, but there is a sense of there are days that I'll go to this direction and it's like, oh, my
yeah,
fridge is on this side in this house, like literally living in two different
Oh,
houses.
wow.
2026, though, this is going to settle, Diane. And then connected, you're in a relationship, Diane.
Yes.
Yeah, or everything okay? Sorry, I'm saying
Yeah.
this.
Not everything, but
No,
yes,
okay,
yeah,
okay. I'll
yeah.
do it my way. Spend some time together. So what I mean by that is make sure you have time for each other. And I love the energy around the relationship. I just feel that we need to be spending the energy around it. Feels that we need to like let's do a date night. Let's go and do something spontaneous. Let's have some fun for us, for ourselves as well. And then I see new ventures as well around you as well, Liz. But I see this, it's really odd that I'm seeing this over. I feel like I'm on like the West End show in terms of like I'm in the spotlight. So either you're looking to do something that's going to put you further into the spotlight that you're
Oh,
really
yes, I am.
apprehensive about and that you're very, very nervous about, but I want you to know you are going to be absolutely fine as well. And then which one of you's got the tattoos? You both got tattoos.
I have on my
Both
arm.
got a few
Liz has
tattoos.
too. Yeah.
And connected to the tattoos, though, Diane, I'm going to just stick with Diane. Then connected to the tattoos, like I've just seen a quick glimpse. They must be symbolic. There must be a deeper meaning to the tattoos in terms of they're not just tattoos. But if I was to look at them, people are, don't know what that tattoo is. But
Yeah.
you,
Hugely. Hugely.
yeah. So just now, and then there's a mother figure coming through as well. So whose mom? Either mom's passed or gran. Is that your gran that's passed on?
My gran has passed yet.
Yeah, and then there's a divide in the family or a separation in the family, or some family don't speak to other family. Like, where would the divide be? I'm being pulled apart.
My parents are separated.
Yeah.
I'm divorced.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm a nightmare.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, good. Yep.
Yeah. So we see the separation, the divide in the family, and then there feels like either you have a difficult relationship with mom or dad, or there's a difficulty around one of your relationships. But
Yeah.
you're very, very stubborn. But you don't come across like that on the.
Oh.
No. Forgive me, but
No, keep it going.
okay. The stubbornness comes from, so again, now it makes total sense. You don't, as I was saying to Elizabeth, speak, and to yourself, speaking up your truth. So you're stubborn towards yourself, like you'd rather be stubborn towards yourself, like, no, I can't do that, I can't do this, but we need to let that go a little bit more. And then is it the issue with your dad that you have, or
Yes.
yeah, I'm just going to say something here. Do you still
Say
speak
it.
though? You still speak?
I'm open to it, but we haven't spoken for a year. So it's like, and for me, I hold nothing. Yeah.
Stop. Sorry, I'm a nightmare. Stop, please. I normally tell my clients to shut up, so forgive me. It's not that like this is where
I love that we're getting to experience this and listeners are too. This is a real reading, folks.
I want you to know, connected to the relationship around your dad, I feel like there can be solutions and things addressed. So it might be, when I said earlier that the weeds are in the garden and you need to pull them out, there's an energy around you needing to kind of like, I'm going to have to pull this weed out. So there needs to be something that's spoke about. I don't care, and forgive me for my manners. I don't care the way that your dad's been, the way he was. There's something that needs to be resolved here. And even if it's for you to get something off your chest that you've been holding on to for all these years, and then there must be an alcoholic or a drinker in there, or somebody who's known for drinking drugs. There's intoxication in the family. Where's that connected?
Dad.
And then, if you've got a brother,
No brothers.
just sister, then.
3 sisters.
Hold on. So no. I want to go at least. Where's the brother?
I've
Who's
got a brother.
you got a brother? And then he would be the brother, like distant in terms of. I don't feel like we're connected in terms of if you're. I'm not saying emotionally, but physically, he must live in another country, live in another place. Would that be connected to him still being in Australia?
Correct.
Okay, so that's kind of common sense because people will be like, well, Liz just told you that she just moved. I'm just tell your brother there's a change happening around him. So either he's doing something different around work, there's a change happening around that side of the family. There's something going on around him that I need him to let him know all is going to be well. And then there's a father for you that's passed as well. So either dad's passed or grandfather, but there's a fatherly energy around you as well. You're married, Liz?
Yes.
Okay, so where's father-in-law?
Father-in-law. Oh my God, do you know when you can't remember anything when you're having a reading? Father-in-law.
Okay,
Your father-in-law's still alive.
still on. Do you not communicate?
No, I can communicate.
Okay, there feels so. There's two things here that I need to break down because I'm getting the same feeling I just had for Dianne. There's a father figure for you that's passed, so either grandfather's passed or dad's, but to me it feels more grandfather, the father figure for you. But then there feels like a lack of communication within the family. I've got the same feeling I had for Dianne, unless I'm still being pulled to Dianne, but I feel pulled to you. There feels like there's something that, so for example, as I was saying to Dianne, there's something you need to get off your chest. You must have gone to the place of, so do I. Like that resonates with me in some capacity. Make sure you do that. And then who lost the dog?
I mean, a long time ago, but not recent.
No, there's a talk to your brother, just find out where the dog's connected. Like I'm not very good with references of dogs in terms of like breeds and stuff, but let your brother or on that sort of like just speak to like it'll come to light and then you'll be like, oh, that's amazing. And then Dianne, I'm meant to tell you, your grand's telling me to tell you that you're not meant to have any more tattoos or don't have it. Like it's okay, but she must have like, but I'm not telling you not what to do. But there's a connection to tattoos that being significant in terms of like, I don't know if you've been thinking about going for more tattoos or there's a link there, but she's telling me to tell you you've got no more tattoos. Like I'm
You've
meant
been
to.
told, Dianne.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny,
And then,
I'm not thinking of getting any more. Like I'm so
good,
happy with what I have.
good,
So that's
good.
yeah,
No more
thanks,
tattoos.
Granny.
Oh,
Oh,
I can't wait to tell my brother
Yeah,
this because not
David.
just to verify, just
yeah.
yesterday I had a huge conversation on the phone with my brother about some huge changes that are just these huge opportunities that just dropped into his lap at
Okay.
work that would change everything for him. So that makes so
Yeah,
much sense.
yeah. Well,
So,
just tell him all is going to be well. But that's where I want to place the dog, like over there. So if you
okay.
just check with your dog, check with your dog, check with your brother. Okay, sorry, I'm all flustered.
Oh,
It just come out of the blue, and I wasn't
oh,
expecting.
the
Um,
energy, Dave. That was so amazing. And I will thank you. I can just imagine now for anyone listening to this, they're like, holy shamoly, how the hell do I either see David in a show, get a reading, be involved in his communities? Like, what have you got coming up and where should everyone go?
it's just easier just to drop me a follow on my socials at Connect with David or follow my website, connectwithdavid.co.uk, because shows just come and go. We've got one coming up this month, January the 16th, Torquay Arena. So yeah, we've just at the moment we're just in the process of organising those as well.
Oh, amazing.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm really sorry. Once I
Do not be sorry.
so, connect it, Liz, when you spoke your brother in construction, who's
Not
the is it?
construction, but he is very hands-on with everything.
Okay, so like the builder, the kind of like building things, that kind of like who would be connected to construction? Like when I say construction, it'd be like the builder or building things or the
Well,
bricklayer.
he is building things, but not building houses. My
Okay,
brother.
so he's building things, so just bear with me. But then I want to put him on a pedestal, so that tells me he's either supervisor, manager, above people. It tells people there's a supervisor that I'm above people from what I'm feeling. He's going to be absolutely fine, absolutely fine.
Okay.
And then I feel like I'm meant to talk about the month of May being like a birthday celebration. I'm seeing balloons around the month of May, so whatever that links to, unless somebody is either a Gemini or unless somebody is a twin, unless the twins connected. So just remember, again, talk to your brother, and then let me know about the dog as well.
Oh my God, I will. I
There's a
have to
follow-up
watch this back.
conversation. I'm the same. I'm like thinking, oh my gosh. I'll have to
I always
rewatch.
like literally have paralysis when people are reading for me. Like my mind goes absolutely blank. And then afterwards I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Oh shit, yeah, forgot about all that.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's a live show as well, so that's just a glimpse of what it's like. So I'm there, do-do-do, 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 and they're like,
Yes.
"Wait a minute," and it's that moment of like people saying, "No, that doesn't make sense," and again, it's not about me, my ego. It's not about me trying to argue. Yes, it does make. I, I care, but I don't because I trust in the process, and I've done it that long now
Yes.
that I know that whatever is there for a reason.
Oh,
Yeah, I
David,
love
thank
that.
you. Thank you so much.
No, it's been a
It's just a real nice pleasure to see how you work and your energy involved. And I love the fact that you do care so much. It's been such a beautiful interview, honestly. I feel like you need to, you're definitely part of the Spiritual as Fuck clan. You absolutely fit in here. You can come back again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
And for anybody listening, we will have all of David's links, all of his social media, his website. So please go and check them out. It is January. We have so many exciting things to come this year as well. So if you're not yet a spiritual renegade, jump on board as well and see what we've got going on in the community there. And yeah, for your next reading, we definitely encourage you to jump onto David's website and get one booked. I know I will be definitely having a look.
Definitely. For 2026, find out.
Absolutely. So thank you again, David. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in for the new year. We hope that everything goes swimmingly. And from what David said, it feels like it's going to be so awesome up to last year anyway. So let's enjoy it. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
If you have enjoyed this episode or are a die-hard fan of the show, make sure to subscribe right now so you don't miss out on future episodes. And to share the love, you can give us an awesome 5-star review.
Help us create a world that is spiritual as fuck.